Okay, on to the final lick of the jazz/blues solo. And this final lick, it's quite rapid. It's just straight 16th notes that kind of, all kind of on the beat. There's no kind of swing to this one at all. It's very, very beboppy, and bebop is characterized by kind of really fast, fluid runs. So a couple of things to note about this particular lick. So I'm just going to play it first, and then I'll talk through about what kind of goes into it. So here we go. Okay, so that's the lick there. So there's really a multitude of things that goes into this one. So first of all, I'll just talk a little bit about the theory behind it. So what we're doing here is we're using this, which is an E flat minor triad, okay, over the top of this 13 chord. So this, by the way, this does fall on the final chord of the progression, sorry. So this is why we're kind of adding all these tense notes here. We want it to sound really tense to bring us back to that one chord. So that basically, if we play this kind of triad over this chord here, we're capturing some kind of chordal extension. So what we've got going on, this note here on the top is the 9th. So we've seen that before. And this one here, capturing that nice flat 7. And there we're just landing on the 5th, okay? So that one there. Okay, so this one here is the 3rd. So we're kind of landing nicely on that. So we have, okay, so it starts on the 4th though. So you got 4th, and then to the 9th, 3rd, 4th, and then, okay, so now to talk a little bit about the technique behind it. Okay, so there's lots of, if you pick all of this, it's going to be really tricky. So I wouldn't recommend that. The best way to do it, use some hammer-ons and pull-offs. So I pick the first note and then pull off. Okay, so, and then pick the last two, so like that, okay? And then pull off, actually, yeah, so, and then pull off again, and then I would use that economy picking that we saw earlier, do up, up. Okay, so we go pick, pull off, pick, pick, pull off, up, up. Okay, so sorry to imply the first two were, yeah, so you go down, pull off, up, down, pull off, up, up. Okay, so that's that first part over that 13 chord. And then we have a similar sort of phrase, okay, which is starting from the 9th fret of the B, okay, on the 4th finger. And this is making heavy use of chromaticism, okay. So over this chord here, we're ending up on this note here, which is the major 7, okay. That sounds really tense, but that's what we're going for. Because as I said, we want to really go, oh, pull me back to that one chord. Come on, bring me there. So we're going. But notice we don't actually hang on to that for ages. We just go. Yeah. So we go. Sorry, the first part. Yeah. So. Okay. So we're not actually hanging on that major 7. It's just adding that little bit of tense kind of. A bit of unsettlement before we hit that note there, which is the 13. Of course, that's on top of that chord. So, and once again, picking wise, I would do pick, pull off, pick, pick. So that would be down, pull off, down, up, and then pull off again. And then here we have a cool little bit of what's called encircling, which I mentioned earlier. Okay, so that is basically, again, highlighting that 3rd. So this is where we're starting to anticipate that one chord coming in. So that note there is the 3rd of that B flat dominant 7th chord, which is what we really want to hit. But also towards the end, I've added in that flattened 7th. So we're hitting both chord tones at the very end of the lick. So we go like that. Okay, so you got 8th fret with the 3rd finger, 6th fret with the 1st finger, 7th fret with the 2nd finger, and then we end up on the 6th fret of the D. Okay, so if I run through it really slowly once again, okay, so we have So you see it's a mixture of kind of picking and hammering on, okay? So when it comes to actually playing in that style, I find that rather than kind of strictly limiting yourself and saying, right, I have to pick this note, I have to hammer on this note, I have to do this tiny little one here hammered on every time, it's very much one of those things that you kind of just have to build up. You kind of start really slowly, work out what feels natural for you. So for me, I like using that pattern. So the hammer-ons and pull-offs that I was using there feel really natural to me. So feel free to use the one, as I detailed earlier, that particular pattern yourself, but do experiment as well, because certain people like to kind of pick at different points. I would definitely encourage you to use the economy picking there though, for sure. Up, like that, because that's just gonna help you get it much, much more fluid. So that is pretty much it for lick number 4. So I'm now gonna put the drum beat on at 100 beats per minute, and I'm gonna play the full solo to the drums. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay guys, that just about wraps up the George Benson player study. I hope you had fun. I had a great time writing these pieces for you. Couple of words of advice: use the backing tracks, use the tabs, just take it all in slowly, okay? Don't try and go crazy with it straight away. You just want to really take your time with this stuff, because it is very, very difficult to begin with. But just, even if you take away just a couple of little licks or a couple of little bits of information from this, then it's been totally worth it. So have fun and enjoy.